All right, good morning, everybody. This is Kayleen of Loving Life with Lee, and welcome to another episode of Universal Astrology. Apologies I didn't get an episode out. I was moving yesterday, but impressively, I am able to set up office as of the next day after the move. So it's kind of like a weird reunion for me. I'm back at my grandma's, and it's only just for a short stay, but it means that I've now get to stay in my old room, and I have a husband and a baby now, and I got my dogs with me, and it's just a weird time for me. So I'm going to do my best for this episode, and see where it takes me. I have been kind of out of the loop, but also kind of not out of the loop because I've been able to listen to some episodes and stuff while I've been moving and kind of catching up and keeping up with the storms that have been going on, at least in the solar uh, category. I haven't really been keeping up with the Earth so much, like earthquakes and stuff. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how the Earth is shaking, but I do know that the Earth, the sun is screaming. So that's a thing. Um, as far as astrology goes, we have several things in retrograde in the outer planets. And so, actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of interesting that I haven't really paid much attention to the Earth kind of situations, knowing that there's so much retrograde going on in the outer planets. If you look, you've got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, uh, Neptune, and Pluto are all retrograde to us right now. So maybe we'll talk about that for a second. And so the ruling, it's actually it is Tuesday, not Monday. So this is supposed to be Mars, not the moon. It is the 2nd of September of 2020. So there's a little bit of cool numerology there, with the 02222020. So then we have also ruling planets are still the same planets. They're just in a little bit of a different order. So we've got the Mars, Jupiter, and Sun rulers, and then over there in the elements, not so different. Still super fire, at over 50 points, and the rest are there except for water. So we're still kind of in that same high intense energy of Mars, Jupiter, and the Sun being on fire and in fire signs. So I'm going to blow this up for me a little bit bigger so we can look at kind of the aspects that are going on today. And forgive me, I haven't really looked at the chart until right now, which is a lot of the time the case. Um, so we have a trine for the sun over to Uranus in fire, so that's giving power to definitely the sun. Uh, However, Uranus is in retrograde, so you know what? Maybe it's not retrograde. Maybe this is something else. I'm still getting used to this program, but I think that would mean retrograde. We'll have to look in 3D out for sure. And Venus is opposing this uh, Pluto Saturn still, but it's in the first degree. It's at 0 degrees Capricorn, so it's right in between Gemini and Cancer. So it's entering into the water area. That'll be interesting for us in the heart center. We're going from the mind to the heart, and we're gonna have this drop down feeling into our emotional center, as we feel through this energy. Um, Mercury and the sun are kind of apart from each other. Looks like Mercury is definitely going to maybe get into Virgo first, and I'll take a look at Chiron and we'll take a look at maybe what Chiron and the Earth are doing in heliocentric, because that's kind of interesting. Um, so let's go ahead and do that since we're going to be looking at some sun stuff today. Okay, so this is Helio. This is the sun-centered chart. So we have Earth is in Virgo. Mercury is just getting into Libra. Yeah, because Mercury has been in Virgo and it entered into Libra, it looks like on the 1st, okay, or thereabouts. Okay. Oops. What happened here? I don't know what I just did. I messed it all up here. Now. Okay. There we go. I don't know why it glitched on me. That was weird. Okay. So, back to this. Yeah, so Mercury is also Mercury's ahead of us here in getting into the Libra energy, and we're still just in Virgo. And to me this has been kind of interesting as Earth has been in the energy of Virgo on the sun chart. Virgo is definitely an Earth ruled sign. And she is commonly known as the Virgin Mary, but that's really only because the age of Pisces was the age of Jesus. So they go hand in hand. The primary reason that the biggest known, character for Virgo is the Virgin is because of that. When you really start to look at Virgo, she's very much nurturing, caring, kind of the earth mother goddess kind of energy. But there's also this very strict nature to Virgo energy, kind of the hard ass mom who is very responsible. And, when I think of Virgo energy, I think of like the farmhand mom or just any hardworking mom out there who's doing it all. She's doing her part and more. And that type of person too carries a lot of strict, responsible inner structures that carry her through, and you really have an inner purpose to nurture and care for yourself and others all around you. And so that this is all very, the Virgo energy, but there's this strictness to it. There's this have to nature to Virgo energy, just a constant push, constant push. And so if we look at maybe how long Earth has been this way, and this is again the sun centered chart. So if you look down on the whole solar system, this is what you see. This is where they are right now. We will go peek at it. We'll throw on screen capture and go look at it. Okay, let's do it. Screen capture, go. So we know this is where Earth really is at and has been. And then we'll match it with the charts. I know what I'll do. Okay, let's turn this down. Okay. So when we look, the chart that we were just looking at is the sun center chart. So this is the chart that we see here. So what we should see is this not in, what is going on here? See, if we're just eyeballing it, Earth looks like it's in Aquarius. Yeah? That's what it looks like to me. Boom, Aquarius. So my question then is, why is it showing in Virgo? See this? Virgo. Which means there's something wrong with this makeup right here. 9/1/1037. Mars. I don't understand. Um, hmm. The other ones are right. Okay, so here's the thing, is that the Earth isn't right there. If my chart was saying that the Earth was in Virgo, then the Earth would be showing right here, which it's obviously not. It's in the energy of Aquarius. Very different. And today, okay, we see Venus, Earth, Saturn line up. Now, this wouldn't be seen in a chart, but the reason why I really appreciate the 3D view of these things is seeing how they line up. Because we've been having some intense solar activity going on in real life, okay, outside of charts and all this stuff, outside of astrology. The study of the sun has definitely been ongoing, and we've had some major activity going on. What astrology charts don't really show in the 2D is that these kind of lineups, these squished alignments, really, really wreak havoc to us, or they can have a huge impact on us. And so, what I find really interesting is that astrology, if we could understand its absolute specificity and stop mumbo jumbo playing with psychology so much, then this would be a really useful tool for just anybody to apply. But this is what's frustrating about astrology software versus astronomy software, is that if I look at a heliocentric chart, I want to see exactly where things are at precisely, right? So Neptune, I can see precisely, is cuspy. It's in the energy of Aquarius and Pisces. These constellations are huge. But the concepts of astrology were based on the constellations. They were picked out as areas of the sky. And so here's my biff that I have with current astrology, is that it just doesn't match up with the astronomy that is kept up with these things specifically and approached them and explored them in such depth. And so now they've branched off so much that even if you use the same logic, the same time, the same now moment, they still don't equate to each other perfectly. Like, you still don't get them to exactly be where they really are. It's the same thing for Sirius. Unfortunately, I don't know why. Because let's see, we gotta throw on. All right, so we gotta throw on some extras here. Show. Did I do it? I don't see it. Oh, here we go. 4 degrees Pisces. Still Helio? No. It jumped me back. Okay. Okay. See? Series. 9 degrees Aquarius. Boom. So why the Earth going Virgo? I'm going to play with this a little bit because it's going to bug the crap out of me. Maybe it's because of the time of day and it's just going to cycle around. It shouldn't, though. I don't know. Staying with moving with the out. It's moving with the rising hour. 9. Okay. So there's got to be another icon for Earth then. There's got to be another icon for Earth that is not showing here. This is typically... This is typically the Earth icon that's used, though. Look at all these different, just educationally, so look at all these different things that we can add on and see. However, oh man, that is just, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out and tell you guys at a later time. I really don't understand why this the Earth is moving with that. Like, I just, oh, it's weird stuff, man. I'll figure it out though, and I will report back to you guys. Nothing else. So we're gonna leave this alone. I get that's just showing the rising sign, which can be useful for meteorology stuff. Really, what I want to do for the rest of the episode, is to give you guys a little bit of an idea of, and check on with me, what the sun has been doing, because it's just been really really interesting. And I've heard enough scientific the scientific community say enough that we're in the new cycle of cycle 25. So we've definitely entered that, and I think that it's really really awesome that I get to start universal astrology right at the beginning of solar cycle 25. So I just think that's like an awesome thing that this channel will be able to say. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna check on all this stuff right now and just take a look at things, because there's definitely been some surprises. This is the sun, and this is a pretty significant corona hole here. And this area in front, um, I don't know if it's being considered a hole yet. There's definitely some areas that lack the luminescence that this camera is picking up. And so this whole area is going to be much more susceptible to fast solar winds. And where you see that reflecting is in this here. This is the prediction model. And this green is Earth. So these stripes here, these are usually from solar wind. So this one, this one up top is showing the density. So this one's really clear to see the kind of wind streams as the sun moves around and rotates around. And we here will see impacts from some of this on the 5th and the 6th of this week. You can see that right now, as this starts on the 31st through the 1st, that we are in a very intense stream. So this is showing radial velocity. And so there's a lot of color on here, and we're just in it right now. And we will be getting out of it on like the 4th and back into like an okay sweet spot in the blue with it's not so bad. And then right again on the 6th, we're entering back into another super windy dense area. So these are coming to us because of what the sun has been doing. So we see the speed is just all over the place. Just, and then it goes quiet. So a lot going on right now. This is high. This density one is kind of interesting. It drops down below after going real intense. Kind of interesting that there's a missing spot here. I don't know what that's about. Goes proton flux. Okay. Electron flux. You can see these drop and then come way up. And this is it says SWPC alert threshold. So the electron flux is measured by the GOES satellite and indicates the intensity of the outer electron radiation belt at geostationary orbit. Measurements are made in 2 integral flux channels, one channel measuring all electrons with energies greater than 0.8 million electron volts, and one channel measuring all electrons with energies greater than 2 MeV. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out which of these events. I've been hearing about them, not really seeing them for myself. So I'm going to do that for myself now, and I might as well share it with you guys too while I check. So I've been kind of watching out and trying to keep tabs on this stuff pretty much since Sunday evening. Yes, I noticed that the KP index went up by 5. And that was the night that I went to bed. I'll just show you guys. So yeah, the night of the 31st, as I went to bed, I noticed that this thing spiked up to 5 and then 4. And so this is the kind of, activity that gets me going. So I had to go to bed, but then the first yesterday I had to finish moving, so I didn't get to do any of this stuff. So I'm gonna be checking to see, what these were about. So I'm gonna go back to like midday the 30th. I guess there was a spike here too, but might as well go ahead. We'll go back to the 30th and just look ahead and see what has been reported on here. This is ISOL search. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So this is a research tool by the Atmospheric Imaging Assembly, and it's basically only scientists of qualified field can add to this tool, but it is an open source made public to us. So it's a great way to actually identify and help along and see what the actual events are and what the immediate information is, but it also gives you immediate access to the actual reports, and also videos. Things like a Helio viewer are linked right in here, and a lot of the times you can see the cactus or the lasso or the imaging right here, kind of a go no farther what's happening on the sun tool. I think the biggest learning curve is just learning how to understand what the information that pulls up on the right means and how to read it. I'm still in the process of that, so I'm at no means can teach it to you, but who I've really learned a lot from is the Space Weather Woman on YouTube, Tamitha Scove, and she is a Wonder Woman when it comes to space weather, and I'm just really appreciative for her efforts and her open. And we look like we could be like related or something, so that's always kind of cool, right? So check her out, Space Weather Woman. She comes up right at the top, right when you even just enter Space Weather. She comes right up in the like the 10th thing down. So, um, yeah, it's awesome. Another recommended channel, of course, is the Suspicious Observers channel. He's done a lot of open source information. He also does a daily report, and he's got a couple of videos here that are absolutely key. And he's really just going out there and changing seriousness level of science, and really just putting a lot out there. I can't even say enough about it. But those are the two channels I recommend so that you can kind of learn enough to know, what this stuff really means and kind of follow along with me. Until then, I'm just going to try and interpret it the best that I can and point out what I see in a way that can be translated and relevant to the universal events and activity that go on, and also astrology as much as possible. So this is the best tool that I've been able to find, the exact timing of some of these events, so we can pull up the exact helio chart for certain events that occurred. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to click down and I'm gonna look at scan this information for some key level events so that we can kind of skip through the little things and get to the big things. Flares at B1, CME, CME. This is on 8/29. See if we can see it. Nope. To the right, top right. So might be this guy, either one. And I think these are all the same one. They're different events happening around the same place. All right, so this is the northern coronal hole. And southern coronal hole. Yeah, so this is another CME at 8:30. A lot of active regions on the sun for sure. Great shots of that corona hole coming down this other one here. So it's interesting to see like this, because every day that passes, there's a new, different corona hole for the top and any other new ones, and they're the same kind of corona hole, but as they keep getting tagged, because on a new day, the hole and the shape, it changes shape and it changes origin, it changes its activity level. So the same hole might be tagged every day, but it's a way to track the activity of it, because it's been really interesting to learn about coronal mass ejection. Some of them can be really, really sneaky. Tamtha, in her Stealthy CME episode, shows this clip where you can't even tell that a CME happens really at all. All you can see is that suddenly this piece of the corona hole gets bigger. That's it. And what that ended up being was like a ridiculously intense geomagnetic storm from a CME that no one even knew was coming, and no one saw evidence of until it got to us. And so that type of stuff they're really trying to change. So this is why that's the same corona hole might be found in here, because there might be multiple of them a day, depending on what the activity of that corona hole does, and that does help us to identify things like coronal mass ejections and flares and the activity ongoing. Because really what these tools are measuring is more accurately what they're not measuring in that light. Because if you look at the sun in a different light, you then see the whole surface of it, and there doesn't appear to be any hole, because there's not really a hole there. It's just a lack of a light source, which tells us that there's not any magnetic connections looping over there, and that there's just an open gap. And I'll find a good image about that so I can show you guys soon. But so looks like the only flare that's even on here since the 30th is way up at the top. However, there has been multiple CMEs and pretty strong corona hole influence on this face of the sun here, for sure. And very, very active regions here and across the face here. So now that we've kind of seen what that activity has really been, what we've been really watching for, and this is one, and then the other corona hole, here's one of those CMEs right there. Doing it again. This is a really active region here. There's one of them. Awesome. Okay, so we'll go 171. Totally different view of it, right? Eating. There's just big streams of stuff happening right here. Got a lot of kind of billowing energy out here. Some limb of something right here. Ooh. Yeah, the sun is definitely slowly waking up, for sure. And this at 304. Look at the tangles. I just love this. This might be my favorite just because of how much you can see of the details of the limbs and the stringy structure of the just amazes me how active it is. Whoa! Did you see that? I didn't see that the first time. Wow. That was crazy. I'll try and get in a little bit closer so when it comes around it's more obvious. Okay, it just started over. So it happens in this area right here. There. That was that CME. I'm gonna wait for it one more time. That was crazy. Okay, turning around. Here we go, right in here. Big red loop. Boom! Oh, that's so cool. I think that's so cool. Okay. Hold on. I'm in the middle of something. Okay, so that's what's going on. It's my first day here, so we're not really used to the routines being in the middle of everything. So I'm gonna get going. But I appreciate you guys being here with me. Sorry for the riffraff with the freaking astrology thing. I'm gonna figure out what's up with that and get back to us. I'm a researcher. What do you expect? All right. Have a good one. And thanks for being here.